Can you hold it like a spokesmodel? No,
Yeah.
no,
Mic check.
no, no touchy.
La 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 la, Luke.
Ray, say, how now, brown cow?
How now, brown cow?
Steve, say, the arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
The arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
Steve, say, the Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
Perfect. Welcome to the Lawson Mountain Biking Podcast. My name is Brooks Lawson, aka the Mountain Biking Realtor. All things Brooks can be found at brookslawson.com. And today I'm here at the Dialed Bike Company shop in Marble Falls. And I'm here with Steve, and Ray. Do you guys want to just kind of take like 15 minutes and introduce yourselves, talk about your history and your, kind of the history of the shop and history of your biking and things like that?
All right, we'll start with Ray over here.
Okay. My name is Ray Cashman. I'm the service manager and co-founder of Dial Bike Co. I've been working in the bike industry as a tech and service manager for the past 24 years now. I've worked in mostly for one shop for about 20 years and then kind of bounced around doing shift work at other shops. Started doing mobile repair and during COVID, and decided it was about time to start my own full shop, and was approached by Steve, and we put our heads together and made this thing a reality.
So let me ask this. You're Steve. What do you guys go by in the shop?
We go Steve B. Borchik, Steve G. Gonzalez.
Okay. Steve G., why don't you go?
All right, I'll be quick and simple with this one. So I'm 50 years old, Steve Gonzalez. Grew up in North Texas, lived in Seattle for about 25 years, ex-Navy, moved back to Texas back in 2020, picked up mountain biking during COVID. My background skateboarding and snowboarding. Had a lot of buddies in Washington State. They got me into it. Then once I moved here, I was able to link up with Seth Buckner over at Cat Mountain, and then everything just kind of came to fruition from there. And then I've only been mountain biking for a little over 3 years, but the community is really strong here in Austin. And I started working at a bike shop out there in Cedar Park. Met these two gentlemen here. Fast forward to now, and I'm the sales manager here with Dial Bike Co. with Ray and Steve B. And we couldn't be happier.
Awesome. Well, Steve B., I know can talk your ear off, but please take your time, man. Tell us about yourself and your history.
Yeah, thanks for having me. As Ray mentioned, we founded Dialed together. My background is primarily in the action sports and bike industry. I've worked on the retail side as a shop manager, and then even working for Fox Racing Shocks as a territorial sales rep, and then in bike product development, new product testing. And so come fast forward to Austin, and just like Steve and the rest of the guys, well, Ray's been here forever, but really saw a strong community here, and saw that Austin and in Central Texas was kind of early on in the mountain bike world compared to or in its infancy compared to a lot of the other kind of regions in the U.S. And we thought that a really community driven core shop was needed, and it was a no brainer with Ray's capability and experience, and then my experience in like the operations and sales side of things and industry experience. So we decided to make a go at it, and here we are. And it's cool to see. It was just a little over a year ago that we started this conversation, and now it's really great to see it all come to fruition and materialize here.
So how's it been going so far?
Oh man, wildly successful. It's been great.
Well, I am completely unsurprised because, is it your wife is Brooke?
Brooke, yeah.
So Brooke actually originally messaged me on the Facebook group, and kind of reached out and was like, hey, we want to post some messages. Is that okay? And I was like, yeah, totally. But I want to know who you are, because, Facebook's just rampant full of spam these days. So I want to make sure you're a real person. I want to make sure that you're in, the Central Texas area before we go forth. And so she suggested that I call you, and we met up, and you had expressed your intentions for sure to be involved in the community. And you've absolutely knocked it out of the park, man. And I really appreciate that. And I know there are a lot of other bike shops that are not so motivated. I don't want to name any names. Bike Farms does a great job being involved in the community. And I think that's really important as a business to be involved and helping the community to grow. So I really appreciate you guys for that.
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, we work hand in hand a lot with Lex. He's a great guy, the owner of the bike farm, and we share the same vision. They're really, as you mentioned, have done a great job with that community focus, and we love partnering with them to really do as much as we can to and expand our efforts to really support the cycling and mountain bike communities here in
Well,
Austin.
Bike Farm shares a very similar philosophy that we do. It's like show up, number one.
Yeah.
Just show up. That's the most important. It's easy for, me being in the skateboard industry. I've owned 2 skate shops up in Seattle. It's easy to just give out in-kind product donations and then not really have to be there. But it means a lot more when you see the managers and the owners at an event supporting it in person. And bringing your point about Bike Farm, excellent example of another bike shop that's just, they're always there. You always see representation, whether it's from Lex himself or his buyers, his mechanics, or his team riders. They're always there. And that's really what we'd love to see more of, is just see more bike shops kind of stepping up. And when you show up to these events, whether it's at Station Mountain Bike Park or RPR, Free Ride 512, or Spider Mountain, to see all the vendors there, whether it's Trek, Bike Farm, Velorangatang, to name a few. I mean, there's any of the bike shop, and the more they show up, I mean, the better for the community. Really, it is.
100%. So what kind of services do you guys offer here at Dialed?
Predominantly, as far as like bike repairs, we're a full service shop. So we do full tune-ups, individual a la carte repairs. We also do full shock overhauls and fork overhauls. So Fox, RockShox, DVO, Olins, all that stuff. We can take care of that here. Everything gets done in-house, unless for some reason it needs to be shipped out. We usually ship anything out fairly locally. We try not to ship things out too far away, so it may not go to Fox factory and wait 3 weeks. If we do have to send something out, we try and get it back here in 10 days at tops. So, but for the most part, we're doing all that stuff in-house. Wheel builds. We got a spoke machine here, so we're cutting and threading spokes. So far, that's been paying dividends, just being able to custom build wheels for people. I've had very good success with building wheels. I've had wheels that have been in car accidents that lasted and the bike didn't. So that's on the equipment that I use, but also in the attention to detail as far as putting the wheels together. And then anything else, people ask us, in my history working in bike shops, people ask you to do all kind of stuff. And if it's within our realm of capability, we'll do it. So I just had a customer recently saying she needs brake work done on her, a family member's walker. So we'll do that too. So if the thing comes in here, for the most part, the parts that we can get for those types of devices are going to be cheaper than what you can get it from a medical supply place. So we'll fix that stuff too. But for the most part, we're dealing mostly with mountain bikes. We do service road bikes, very well versed in, road bike technology and drivetrains and integrated brake hoses and cables and all that stuff. We can do all that. So if you got a high-end road bike or you got an entry-level road bike, we can fix that too. But in this area, because we're so close to the mountain bike parks, we're predominantly a mountain bike park. Most of the repairs we've been seeing in the short time we've been open are almost all mountain bikes.
But we also want to let the listeners know that even though the focus and identity of the shop as far as the sales side goes, yes, we are 100% focused on trail bikes as far as the retail goes. But like Ray said, doesn't mean we don't service everything. You bring it in. If it's something we can do, we're definitely going to do it. We really try not to turn any customers away from anything. So, we don't want people to get the wrong idea that we're a strictly, high-end trail bike shop. No, we service everything. Our identity is we're focused on mountain bikes.
Okay, and then you guys have new bike sales too, right? What brands do you carry?
We've got Pivot, we've got Santa Cruz, Norco, Forbidden, Haro, Chromag, and We Are One are the main brands that we carry. We do not do any used bike sales, not as of yet. We focus on so I'll kind of explain how the sales work. It's not your typical stocking dealer. Every bike you see in here, and even bikes that aren't in here currently, everything in here is basically a demo bike. So a customer could take out, a $10,000 Pivot e-bike on the trail. And what I do as a sales manager, I will go out and bring demo bikes to a customer that's interested in a bike. We'll meet them on a trail of their choice. I'll do a half-day ride with them. I'll tweak the bike on the trail for them as they go, and then I'll bring multiple bikes with them so they could try them all. And it typically leads, almost 90% of the time, it leads to a special order. So what we'll do with the customer is they'll test ride the bike, and then we'll special order the customer the color, the build that they want, and then we also do custom builds for the customer. So a lot of people want their carbon wear one wheel, so we can upgrade the builds, and that's where Ray's been really good about that. Matter of fact, almost every customer is upgrading their bikes, either adding some sort of T-type drivetrain or they're ordering carbon wheels for their bikes.
Awesome. And so you have the mobile service too, right?
Yeah. Ray's has a great van. We've built out that Sprinter, and we have more resources mobile based than a lot of bike shops will have in their brick and mortar. And Ray can speak.
Yeah, I've actually been able to fill in at bike shops just doing extra work, and before we open the shop, and work solely out of the van. So just park in the parking lot behind the store and knock repairs out. And same goes for mobile service. We have a minimum fee for our service visits, just like you would for a plumber, electrician, or something like that. And but I can do pretty much anything I can do here. I can do in the van, aside from cutting spokes. That's the only thing. I don't have another $4,000 to spend on another spoke machine right now. Not yet, anyways. But yeah, full suspension service can be done in the van. I've got a nitrogen tank in the van. And full complement of tools, can do everything. And I have.
And what's kind of your area of coverage?
We like to stay like North Austin, Cedar Park, Round Rock, Pflugerville, Leander, that area. We will go to South Austin, especially if it's a big job. So, if you need like your fork and your shock overhauled and you need a tune up, we're coming to your place. So, and we can come to your house. We can come to your work, if you want to bring your bike to work. So it just makes it convenient. We've got several customers that, are regulars that we'll show up at their place and they'll just remotely open the garage. So I can pop in, grab the bike, fix it, put it back in, text them, say, hey, look, you're good. We can get mobile payment. So we are set up to accept payment remotely. But we also have a card reader, tap swipe, all that stuff on site. So it's pretty versatile. So if anybody needs some mobile repair, we're here to help.
And there's times, it's not typical practice work, but it's happened before where depending on the work on the bike. We've arranged with the customer to even pick the bike up from them to bring out to the shop to work on and then deliver it back to them.
Especially if it's a very questionable repair. If the customer doesn't know really what's wrong with it, or it's something that could be a warranty issue or a frame failure or things like that, we want to pick the bike up, bring it into like a more controlled environment, which is in the shop, where we can really go through the thing and really evaluate it and come up with a solution for them.
Yeah, and I think now that we're out here in the Marble Falls region, we're seeing a lot more mobile service requests from areas that are close out here, but not super close. Kingsland, Horseshoe Bay, most definitely. We have a lot of clients that are that kind of higher end Horseshoe Bay clientele who are busy with their day to day, and they would like us to come by and stop and have their bike serviced while they're at work, and we can fully do that. We can access their garage or whatnot, have the bike serviced, put it back, everything closed up, and make it easy.
Yeah, or we could just drop down the chimney too and get the bikes from it.
So you don't have a fee that's associated with mobile service. It's just a minimum fee.
Yeah, so we do a $150 minimum fee, which is what we charge for a full tune-up. So if you need a full tune-up, which usually it does, we can't drive, 30 miles to South Austin or something like that to do a brake repair. It's not worth the money, right? So, but the shop is always open for that type of stuff. Sometimes we have worked with customers if we're going to be in the area already. That's not very common. It's pretty rare because people live all over the place. So I'm located in Cedar Park, so I'm actually pretty centrally located for most of the mobile repairs that we get calls for. So I can actually just do those before I drive all the way out here. And then if we got something out here, I'll usually schedule it for a day where I'm already out here. So that way, just try to make it as convenient as possible. We don't, the mobile is not our primary service mode, but it is available. So, We try to utilize it as efficiently as possible.
Well, the mobile van is also great because it allows us to do event and race support.
Mhm.
So this thing we haven't talked about yet is we will show up with the vehicle to all the Spider races. We're going to be out at Station Mountain Bike Park on the 24th for the trail party race, where you'll be out there doing race support for those individuals. And then Steve and I will be over at Spider Mountain for their anniversary. So we're able to kind of spread out and support all the events that we can. We will always try to, and we're always going to show a presence. I mean, we're mountain bikers first and foremost, so we're just going to be there hanging out. So if you see the Dial Bike Co. truck or van, doesn't mean we're trying to like impede or infringe on territory. It's just, hey, we're mountain bikers, and we just happen to have a Dial sticker on our vehicle. This is how it is. But first and foremost, we're mountain bikers, and we want to support everything that's going on. And we'll try to be at as many events as we can. We're going to be at Smithville for your event March 9th. I mean, that's a good hour and a half, 2 hours away, but really cool events. We're going to be there for it. So yes, aside from the service side, on the business side, we're also using the van to do support. Matter of fact, today I had a demo with a customer out in Lago Vista on my trails. Ray was able to pull up in the van, help the customer out. We were able to ring up the sale right there, and he was able to kind of go through the bike, torque it up for the customer. We got everything set, got his cockpit. And this customer drove all the way up from Houston, left his house at 5:30 in the morning to demo a bike up in this area. So I mean, the van comes in handy. It's like I said, it's a mobile office. Ray can do pretty much everything out of that van.
And you guys will be at the upcoming event at Freeride 512 Party in the Pines at Rocky Hill Ranch.
You already know. We'll be probably spending the night there the night before.
Yeah, and if you see our van out or the truck, out at any events or anything, come by and say hi. We've got stickers. We've usually got a nice chest full of water and beer and whatnot, and we'll usually have some merch and whatnot too. So come say hi. We love building community. That's why we've started this whole thing, and it's stoked to get out there.
I always think it's funny when people charge for stickers.
No.
Oh no,
No, we don't.
No way.
We're not there yet.
You're going to charge me money to put your ads on my stuff?
We're going to give you the stickers for free.
But also, when we're at those events, we're trying to keep everybody's bikes going too. That's really another key factor of being there, or a key element to that, is that we got our guys that are team riders that come in, and they've I blew up my derailleur, or I'm trying to get something, new brake pads, or I need my brakes bled or something like that. And we get other people that come up too. Like, see the van, they just roll up to the van, and if somebody needs something that's quick, we'll just knock it out for them, just so they can get back on the trail or get back in the race or whatever they got to do.
Absolutely.
And I got to give a lot of credit here. We know we haven't got to the marketing side, but it hasn't come up yet. I got to have a ton of credit for our friend Jacob Aston, who is our marketing manager. The guy is phenomenal. He's the one that's done all the really cool content creation for our social media.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Killing
he's
it.
a huge part as far as building the brand. And then we've got Josh Adami he's one of our team riders, Victory Racing, and he's like our basically unofficial, like, out in the field spokesperson. And the guys are doing a killer job. So shout out to you, Jacob. You're awesome. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. I want to mention that because aside from the stuff we're doing inside the shop and on the trails and the trail bidding side, behind the scenes, the marketing is a huge part of our success.
Yeah, he's crushing it.
Oh yeah.
You guys are
You
doing
got to
great.
realize the shop has only been open for about 4 weeks. Our brick
Yeah.
and mortar's only been here for less than a month.
That's what I'm saying. And you guys like exploded onto the scene. Like, you came from zero to hero in no time at all.
It's been astounding how fast our brand has grown and our presence. And it's all due to, I think, really the authentic kind of push behind it to be a contributing member to the cycling community here. Steve's hard work that he's doing with all the demos, as he mentioned, being out there in person. Ray's, he's highly respected in the area as one of the top service techs in the Austin region, Central Texas region. And so I think for us, it was just kind of pulling this team together, and everybody brings in this hard work and this authentic commitment. And I think that's what really, really pulls it together. And it's led to our brand really shining and in a much quicker and more rapid way than any of us had ever dreamed. And so I think, we owe it to our community, and we appreciate you guys out there. We love riding with you guys. We love, getting into new stuff with you guys. We love high-fiving after getting stoked, and let's do more of it, a lot more of it.
Yeah, that's the stuff that gets me excited personally is, I'm going to be straight with you. Like I said, I come from a skateboard background. I am not a mountain biker. I'm not a cyclist in any shape, form, or fashion. The bike is what brings me joy. It's led me to meet some of the best people I've ever met. And it's just a vehicle for fun to me personally. But when I show up to stuff that's not necessary, and I mean, I'm not an XC rider. I'm not even a racer, but I like being a rider. But what I feed off of is the stoke. So when we were out at your Pace Bend Park, Ben, seeing everybody just stoked to ride, that's what I feed off. It has nothing to do with that's one thing I will say. The whole siloing of the different types of riding, whether you're free ride or your race or your enduro, your XC, or whatever it is, you need to tear all that down, because at the end of the day, you're just a rider having fun on a bike. You could have fun on a surfboard, you could have fun on a snowboard, you could have fun skydiving. The bike is what brings you joy, and you need to focus on that, because you can't take things too serious, and it kills the stoke. So that's what I really enjoy, is seeing how stoked people are and just being around. And this last Spider downhill race, they knocked it out of the park. It was pouring down rain, and people were just stoked to be there, rain or shine. It was like, I'll be honest with you, it was one of the best events I've been to in a while. But just seeing how stoked people are to be somewhere, that's what gets me hyped on doing stuff that we do.
Absolutely. And it can be both too. It can be about having a great time and helping out the community, and it can be about your business too, and brand familiarity and things like that, and people knowing who you are. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So tell me about you guys, the three of you and whoever else is on your team here, and how did this team come to be?
Well, so I met Steve here. So we live in Lago Vista, Texas, and I used to bartend at the golf course out there. And one day I see this Cro-Mag dirt jumper on the back of a truck out there, and he's in there. I don't know if you were getting golf balls, or I don't know if you were hitting balls in the range. And I said, "Hey man, is that your hardtail back there?" He's like, "Oh, it's my dirt jumper. I'm on my way over to the bike shop right now to drop it off to have them ship it out." And it just so happened to be the bike shop I was working at the time. And then that's how we connected. As a matter of fact, I still have him. So you were going to do a golf cart business thing for a while. So I still have him myself on a Steve golf carts. That's when way back we met. So you pops up. It says Steve golf carts. And that's because I met him at the golf course. And then Ray, so we worked at a bike shop at Cedar Park together, and I met him. He was the part-time tech, but he'd work out of his van out of the back a few days a week, and I was like the sales lead over there, and that's how I met Ray. And we just we bonded, and we had a lot of thing going. Like, we're older dudes, a little cynical. Like, we'd like to have beers after work, and we started hanging out, and then these two connected, and then everything just kind of came in place.
Excellent. So let's see. What are your kind of responsibilities? What are your strengths? How do you play off of each other?
Well, obviously, I'm the class clown in the business. I mean, I'm the less serious one, obviously. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sales, so it's like I'm the mouth, Steve's the brains, and Ray's the muscle. I mean, that's kind of how we break it down. You know what I mean? Like, you got the operations manager over here. I'm just out there doing what I got to do. Sure. And then Ray's the muscle. Ray's the he's the dad. Ray's the dad. He's the one that's going to spank you if you're not good.
Yeah, I try and run a tight ship around here. But Steve's real good about, Gonzalez is good about going out, doing the demos, getting everybody hyped. When they trash their bike, then they got a place to take it. So he's bringing me repair leads and things like that. So we always got bikes in here to fix, and we always got the homies over here hanging out. That's why we got the bar stools here. We got the beer here, so they can come in. If they, pie out their derailleur or whatever, then just bring the bike in here. We'll swap it out for them, and they'll hang out and have a couple beers.
You're drinking one, Save the World Brewery right here, right across the street.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, let's give them a shout out. Well, Save the World is a local brewery here, and actually, I think Steve right here might have been one of the first persons to kind of touch base with him, because Steve's the one that really was the one. All right, so Steve is the one, Steve Borchik. He's the one that actually found the space, I think back in May. Mm-hmm. He was just driving around. We were looking, or when I say we, I mean he, looking somewhere outside, and we had to be far enough away from everybody else, and we would still get our brand. So that I was this is actually before I even started on Station Mountain Bike Park. That wasn't even a thing. I'd been working with Rhett on helping him try to find an area. So the whole Station Bike Park was an idea back when you were looking at spaces. But I think because of Spider Mountain and RPR being like such a popular destination for biking in Texas, it only made sense to look at the Burnett, Marble Falls area. So Steve found the location. This building was, I think they only had, 3 buildings constructed at the time?
Two at
the
time.
time.
Just a slab at the time.
A slab. So these guys had signed basically a promissory type of
promissory thing.
Hey, back in I think you guys signed that in May or
June
June.
or July.
Yeah, LOI.
And at the time,
Irvington.
I had left for Seattle for a month to go ride bikes up there and see my kids, and came back. We were hoping to have the spot open by September 1st. That ended up being, we don't think we got the keys to the place till almost mid-October.
October 1st is when they finalized the construction. Then we got to start building. So, and then that took a few months to get everything done. And at the same time, we're using the van to do repairs. So can't be here all the times, but it's like drive out here, work for like 10 hours, try and do a repair before work and after work, and just to try and bring in a little bit of revenue. We want to take out as few loans as possible and try and pay cash as much as possible for this whole venture. Built everything ourselves. So came in here with saws. I just brought all my saws and power tools and everything, and went down to the lumber yard and grabbed some stuff and started building.
Real Bob Vila over here.
Yeah.
No, but to get back to the Save the World issues, like Steve was already out in Marble Falls, kind of like planting the seeds. I mean, he had the dialed sticker on his van, so he was driving around and he would just frequent the local coffee shop here, Numinous, and his truck would just constantly be there, right? So he went around and he was meeting the local business owners, the local coffee shops, the local breweries, and I think that he made a touch base with Evan and Brittany over here at Save the World, and so they come from Bellingham, Washington, so they're mountain bikers themselves, so they fully embraced what we were doing right off the bat. So that's how it kind of stemmed from us. And then Jacob, our marketing guy, also does marketing for them as well. So, there's a little cross there, but I mean, they're local and we want to support the local businesses in Marble Falls and try to partner up with them when we can. So, and they Save the World was a huge partner in opening up Station Mountain Bike Park back in November 3rd. And so, we just try to respect that relationship, and they've been great. We love them. Thank you. Thank you. Save the World.
Cheers.
There we go. Cheers to that.
And I think Save the World is just one great partnership. And part of being a bigger portion or a bigger part of this community is really diving in, as Steve mentioned, with a lot of other local businesses. And that includes Numinous, the guys over at Mojo Coffee, Save the World Brewing. We do a lot of rides and whatnot in Lago Vista. And the guys, Mark and Sam and everybody over at Lago Vista Brewing is great. Brian and his team over in Lakeway Rough Hollow area with Front Yard Brewing, they're a great, resource and partner for us. So I think for us, it's just really working with other small business owners, and just really building that community, and building a bigger scene for everybody.
Yeah, I understand that completely. And that's why I'm actually doing this whole thing, is to kind of just network. And I love supporting local businesses. I think it's super important, and to kind of build each other up. So I'm so glad to see that there are other businesses that are kind of trying to do the same with each other and networking and things like that.
Marble Falls is actually a really cool little town. It's one of the only small towns that I've seen in the Central Texas area where if you go and there's a lot of mom and pop, small boutique restaurants that are thriving. I mean, there's a lot of pride here in Marble Falls that people love supporting local business here. And so I think it's, Steve, kudos to Steve here. He found the spot, but Marble Falls is the place to be. I'm telling you right now, this place is, I would love to live here. I mean, I need to figure out a way to.
It's beautiful. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of expansion out in this area, not just in mountain biking, but we definitely figure into it. But this region is becoming kind of the outdoor recreation spot for this. And I think, we have Fredericksburg and Johnson City and everything down to the south of us with wineries and everything that extends up into this area. But the Highland Lakes area up here is just great. And we're seeing a lot of people come from all over the state and all over the, kind of the central southern region here. We're seeing a lot of riders come from Bentonville, from Oklahoma down for our events. We're getting a lot of people from all over. It's great.
I mean, if you look at just in the last few months, look at the heavy hitters, the big names that have come through here. So Spider-Man, you had Gene Hamilton put on the clinic with Cody Kelly.
Cody Kelly.
Yeah, Cody Kelly out here did a skills clinic. You just had Kyle Strait out here for the trail party event just a few weeks ago. And then you got Ryan Rodriguez coming up here February 23rd to the 25th to Spider Mountain to do a skills clinic. So, Texas is on the map. Especially in the winter. Like, these riders have to go somewhere to train, even though we don't have the elevation, but we definitely have the pitch and we've got the terrain. Matter of fact, people that have visited here from the Northwest have ridden out here and said, hey, I can't believe how technical the riding is in Texas. And no wonder you guys are so good at riding. And when you don't have a ton of elevation, this is me riding in the Northwest where you're climbing at Tiger Mountain, you're 1,200, 1,500 foot climb. You get more reps out here, and this is getting to the bike industry. That's why you're seeing such a boom in e-bikes right now, because the folks that are really doing more of downhill enduro stuff, you're getting so many more reps on an e-bike when you're only climbing, like say Lakeway, for instance. I mean, you're only climbing 250, maybe tops feet of elevation, but how many reps you're getting in a day? So 1 hour ride on an e-bike, you can go hit all those downhill lines and just work on your cornering and speed and brake control 10, 12 reps in a single day.
It's not just the reps either, is it? Because there's places like California and Colorado, and I've even been to Scotland, and they places, they have fire roads. So they're just like flat gravel roads.
It's the worst to climb.
We don't have any of those. Everything here is just torture.
When I was in Tiger Mountain up in Seattle this past summer, hour and 15-minute climb on an acoustic bike, right? And my buddy was being cool because I didn't have an e-bike at the time. I was on my bike and he had an e-bike. He said, "Hey man, I'm going to meet you and I'm just going to bring my acoustic bike, because you don't have one." He was like, after we did the climb, we went up, did Predator down, and I said, "Dude, I'm done. Like, I'm done for the day." That was it. Hour and 15 up. It takes about 15 minutes to get down. I went to the cars. I'm done. I'm not going back up with this. And he goes, "Well, this is why you got to get an e-bike." And then we came back, and I came back. These guys said, "Hey man, our focus." I'm primarily focused on e-bike sales only because I'm trying to sell fun. Like, I don't care about the fitness side. There's plenty of XE shops. There's plenty of, go to Mellow Johnny's, buy a road bike. You want to go if you get fit? Go get a road bike. Go get a Peloton. I ain't into that for that. Like I said, I'm a skateboarder. I don't push the skateboard up the hill either. You know what I mean? So I get a ride to the top and I bomb down. Like, I'm in it for the fun. And for all you listening right now that are the e-bike haters, remember, people do it for fun and bikes evolve. Guess what? The guys who rode full rigid probably said the same thing about the first full suspension bike.
I watched a video a while back about when snowboards first became a thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's crazy to hear them talk about them like that way. Like they're just like these hoodlums, like these people that are tearing things up and things like that. It's just like such a exact comparison. It's wild.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're in it for the fun, and the e-bikes for me, like, I can't go back. And you get used to the weight of the bike. Actually, it feels like you're on a downhill bike. You can corner better. You can brake. It's just, you feel more confident. The bike stays down on the ground. And it's like I said, this is if you're riding downhill stuff only. If you're hitting Walnut Creek, you probably don't need an e-bike unless you're injured or you're hurt. You just want to get outside. And that's another thing people understand. The e-bikes get people outside. People that actually either in PT or whatever it is, who can't just go out on a pedal bike. The e-bikes allow folks of all ability levels, of all ages, to get outdoors. And that's really what it's about. Just get outdoors. And if an e-bike, a tricycle, motorcycle, whatever it is, get you outdoors, go out and have fun. Now, that being said, the Sur-On thing is a whole different subject. Well, that's a thing that's going to grow, but those guys are going to end up starting to build their own trails.
Yeah, it's going to have to be their own thing. But if you got a fused disc or something like that, you can't necessarily, those people aren't pedaling, up the hill of life, So the e-bike it has that place too for people who want to go out and put miles down on a bike. If you want to go do a lap around Lake Georgetown, but you've got you've had 3 knee surgeries or something, then the e-bike is definitely going to get you out there riding.
Well, I'll tell you right now, somebody's been riding the e-bike. I've been on the Santa Cruz Heckler about 4 months now. It ain't easier. It's about as technical as it gets. You all of a sudden now you're working. It's almost like riding a dirt bike. Like, you have to work on. There's so much more technical stuff now about the power setting, what gear to be in. There's times you need to know how to throttle the brake as you climb so you don't spin out. I've taken the bike out and done the long Jester rides. Been at the Southwest Parkway on the bike. I've done Cat many times on the bike. And the climbing aspect of the e-bike is extremely technical. Like, there's stuff now that I would never be able to do, but I can go to Quarter Notch, I can go to Brushy, and there's climbs now, which doesn't make it easier. It's just a whole different approach. Now your line choice, how you look at things, is a lot different, because just because you got a motor on the bike does not necessarily make it easy. I took Ray out riding, and a thing that he would normally climb every time on an acoustic bike, it took about 4 or 5 times on the e-bike.
You can't do it. So if the wheel's not moving, then the motor's not putting any input in it, and it doesn't matter how hard you put on the cranks, you're not going anywhere. So if you get stalled on a climb, that's it. You're getting off pushing that thing.
And you're on a 60-pound bike.
Yeah, I've heard that some people have trouble like when it's really steep because it tends to like lift the front wheel.
Oh yeah,
up.
it'll lift up if you're in the wrong mode. Once again, so the trick is to like
Yep.
kind of tap the rear brake depending on what power mode. It's a lot going on, and your brain's thinking about multiple. Think about the first time somebody got on a dropper post, like how they were like, oh, they couldn't even handle how that worked. So now you got dropper gears, power assist modes, brake levers, like
a whole new meaning to
oh
cockpit.
man, that's too much.
I think with the e-bikes, there's less of a lower body workout. Your legs aren't getting taxed as much, but there's definitely more of an upper body workout. I feel it in the arms more, and as you mentioned, Brooks, body position, leaning over to keep that front wheel down. All of that's exaggerated, and the fact that you're riding at an elevated pace the entire time. You're not doing that slow grind uphill. You're going uphill fast as well. So you're encountering all those rock ledges and all those things climbing. And so you're moving your body around and I think what I like about the e-bikes is that you don't get fried, as Steve mentioned. So you're able to, where before when I would go for a long killer ride or an epic ride, I'd have 2 or 3 days of recovery. Well, now I can go for that epic ride. And the next day, if somebody says, you want to ride? I'm like, yeah, let's go again. That was a blast. Yeah. And so over the span of a week, I'm actually burning more calories because I'm riding more, even though in any given ride, I might be burning a little bit less.
So think about your skill set. So if you're riding more, once again, get more rest, your skill set, maybe not the fitness side on the leg side, but see, this is where the argument really is. You look at supercross riders. They're some of the most fit athletes in the world because they're not nonstop muscling a 300-pound bike around. So your upper body, and anybody out there listening who just doesn't believe in it, I contact me. I'll bring an e-bike to you, and we'll go do a 2-hour, 3-hour long e-bike ride. And I don't care if it's Brushy Creek or we can go to Emmalong. Ride that thing for 3 hours and tell me that wasn't a workout.
Butts on bikes.
What's that?
Said butts on bikes.
Butts on bikes.
Yep. Yeah. So Steve G, talk to me about Lago Vista.
Oh, I knew that was coming. Hey, so check us out.
Is it because you saw it on my sheet?
Well, but it's just, like to kind of back up a little bit. So I moved out to Lago Vista back in 2020, September, and immediately found a cool location out there behind the high school and just started cutting trails. Like anywhere else in the state, Texas doesn't have a lot of public land. So, every day's kind of, you're on private property cutting stuff, but sometimes private property owners don't really care. Hey, whatever.
Every trail system in Austin started as a bandit trail.
Yeah, pretty much. And all the best ones are bandit trails to this day. So props to all the trail builders out there. But what I'm saying is it got to a point. So it was me that I started out there. And then a buddy of mine, Todd Moon, was out there cutting trails with me. And, he ended up moving away. So the last year or so, it's been me kind of solo. And at one point, I'm like, one, I'm not a cool guy. And why do I build these things? I want to ride with people. Only other people that knew about them was like really close friends that I'd bring out. But I'm like, I'm doing all this work and I want to show it to other people that want to ride stuff, appreciate. So after the last basically 2 months, I started kind of slowly posting things on Austin Mountain Bike and say, hey, contact me directly. I didn't want to put everything out there on the homepage, but hey, contact me directly and I'll be more than happy to show you.
How did that go?
It has been working. We got huge groups, and hey, props to Brant Hatton. Brant is another one out there who's building trails. Brant's a local. He's an OG Lago Vista head.
Sweetheart of a guy too.
And and actually Brant's the one naming the trails, but him and I, he said, what do you think, Steve? I was like, you know what, man, just open the floodgate, dude. I don't care. Come out and ride. I don't care because nothing lasts forever. That's another thing. This place is probably going to blow up down the road. 10 years, they're probably going to put a golf course out there or build houses. So we'll ride it till the wheels fall off and then we'll work and do something else. And as a skateboarder, I'm always looking at new places to build. I'm always scouring. I've got lines behind the brewery. I'm already looking at some new stuff up by the airport. It's going to be some of the steepest stuff you've seen in the area. And I'm going to keep building. And that's what I like doing. I almost like building at times more than I like riding. But what gets me stoked is building something and seeing everybody else enjoy the stuff I'm riding. Which, by the way, I got to get you out there in a ride.
Yeah, we got to go.
But no, the Lago Trails, it's kind of turning into something on its own. But, everybody's stoked on it. Everybody wants to ride it. And it's not a cool guy thing at all. I'm not... I'm one of those cool guy trailblazers trying to keep everything secret. I want people to come out and ride, but just contact me and I'd be more than happy to show you around responsibly. Like I'd like to kind of show people where stuff is. There are mandatory features that, it's a bandit trail, so it doesn't like it has trail names on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, contact me directly
no
through
caution
Facebook.
signs.
Yeah, no caution signs. Like, no, yeah. Just say, have fun. Don't be a kook.
And we're happy to, like Steve's mentioned, happy to meet people out there and kind of caddy people along with some of the trails, because there are some features and whatnot that could surprise you if you're not ready for them. But yeah, it's awesome, and the work that Steve and the guys have been doing out there over the years is cool, and it's cool to see everybody and enjoy their efforts.
Well, in all reality, I mean, I live in Lago Vista, so Cat Mountain's an hour away from me, and Cat's the first place I started riding here when I moved here. Actually, what's funny is that all my buddies that were serious riders in the Northwest said, "Oh, you're moving back to Texas? You have to look up this guy named Seth Buckner, and you have to go check out Cat Mountain." And at the time, Cat Mountain wasn't even under Freeride 512. I think you had to like message Seth directly. He said, "Hey man, what's up? I'm here." And so I did that. And then, like, I don't know, like just a few months later, he ended up moving. It's funny, ironic, because he moved to Seattle, like just months after I moved in here. And he was only there for a month. So he's guiding me around Cat Mountain over the phone while he's in Seattle. And I'm like, dude, I just left Seattle. Anyway, but yeah, he's one of my best friends now. Love the guy. He just became a father. Congratulations, Seth. I'm proud of you. But yeah, and it's just the culture around it, the whole victory and everything else going on, how raw it was. It really reminded me of like a Burnside skate park for like mountain biking, just built by riders. It was gnarly. I mean, the scariest thing I've ever seen at the time.
Yes.
And getting back to Lago's just 5 minutes away from my house. It's just right in my backyard. It's peaceful. I can go there and have a beer, take the dogs out for a walk, build trails, ride. But if I was a lot closer to Austin, I would be at cat digging more often. But that being said, all the listeners out there, please, please, please go to freeride512.com, become a member. It's only $120 a year, and it gives you access to some of the best trails. You can ride Cat Mountain, you can ride the Christchurch and Cedar Park, and you can ride Freeride 502, which is honestly the best free ride park, hands down, in the area.
And don't forget to sign the waiver.
Don't forget to sign. Well, when you become that member, you're going to be signing that waiver. But yeah, sign a waiver, please. Support the bike scene and support what those guys are doing. And support what these guys are doing. Austin Ridge Riders, props to you guys. You guys are doing great work. Keep it up.
I'm fairly new to the team, but I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping to have a lot more events this year and kind of more into the future, because it's been kind of slow in the past. I think we had one event last year.
Well, that's going to change. We'll do more.
And I appreciate your guys' help with that. So if somebody wants to do the Lago Vista ride, should they reach out to you?
Yeah, contact Steve Gonzalez on Facebook, or contact Brant Hatton, Brant. Brant's he's more of a social guide, and actually Brant's a real biker. I mean, this guy's been doing it for a long time. He's podiumed multiple races. I'm just a dude who just likes to build trails and have fun. If you want to have beer and drink and have fun and get hyped, and call me. If you really want to ride and learn, hit up Brant or hit us both up.
Yeah, and that's another shout out for Brant. Brant is working on a bike tourism, how do you want to call it, guide service?
He's doing a bike tour.
Yeah,
service.
so if you want to go, if you're new, he knows RPR like the back of his hand. So if you want to go ride and need a shuttle and kind of like an all-inclusive guide service for the day, yeah, Brant is your guy. A ton of knowledge, great guy. And we're excited to work with him.
He's very active on the Austin mountain bike group. So if you just look out for his post, look out for my post about the Lago ride. So we do Lago Vista rides every Sunday, 9 a.m. If you want to ride it, which trust me, you do, and please bring an e-bike unless you're extremely fit. If you're fit, you're hyped. If you're not, you're bummed.
Better bring a toe strap.
Yeah, bring a toe strap or bring an e-bike, or let me know and I'll bring an e-bike for you.
And then does Brant have a page or anything like that, or somebody can learn more?
Just contact him directly through Facebook right now. Like I said, Brant Hatton, he's active. You can message him, or even just he replies to your post. So if you just say something on the Austin mountain bike page, he's probably gonna be the first guy to reply.
But yeah, and they're just launching, so I don't think they have all of those assets in place yet. But it is very much one of those, support your local small business. He's working very hard on that, and it'd be great if you have a need, no better guide out there, and yeah, it would help support his new endeavor.
Shout out to Brant.
Shout out to Brant. Cheers, brother. Well, shout out to you, Brooks. Hey, man, this is awesome. I'm glad you came out.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Nothing better than drinking beer.
Short notice too.
Talking about bikes, yeah.
One of the reasons I kind of slowed down and stopped doing this so much was that people were kind of drag their feet. And I'm like, hey man, I'm trying to give you like a free promotion. I got like Facebook group, like 15,000 people, and I'm trying to help you out. And they just kind of like wouldn't return my calls or my texts. So that's kind of why I pulled the reins back on that. But I'm hoping with the podcast, I invested a lot of time in like editing and like clipping and things like that. And it wasn't really work that I enjoyed. Like shout out to creators, because it takes so much more time than I ever thought it would.
Editing sucks. It's the worst.
Well, and it's time consuming too. And so the podcast format allows me to kind of just take one take, and whatever we get, and I'm gonna throw it out there.
Hey, raw footage right here in the raw.
and Brooks, as a small business owner and everything, we want to appreciate you and say thank you, because I know you mentioned this earlier in the podcast that we had that conversation talking about community, and you and I first chatted to kind of make sure that we were real and we were a thing and everything. But it was a few months back, we were at the Freeride 512 and Ridge Riders free ride event down at Oscar Blues, and we were there, and it means more to me than you would ever know that when we were chatting, you mentioned with a couple of the Ridge Rider guys, you said, hey, do you see any bike shop owners here? And they were like, no, well, we know we don't have any sponsors. We try to be kind of Sweden or Switzerland in this whole thing. And you're like, yeah, I know, but do you see any bike shop owners here? And you're like, Steve and Ray are here, Dialed's here. And they're present. And Steve made that promise to me months ago, and they're fulfilling that. And so thank you for that, that belief and keeping us top of mind. And we just really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. It's my pleasure.
Of course we're going to be there. There's beer there. Why would we not be there? Like, I just thought there was free beer. That's why I told you guys to come with me.
All right. So I think we're going to come to a close here. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
I mean, is there anything you want? I want to know what's going on with you. Like
with me?
Yeah. Obviously Brooks is the, the event coordinator for Austin Ridge Rider. So what do you like to see?
This is very new. I am going to be the director of special events for the Austin Ridge Riders.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was nominated for the position, so I was very proud of that. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping to have more events. We do already have, my first event kind of mostly planned out. Rob and Freeride 512 are going to be helping me out with that and kind of making sure that everything's taken care of, and kind of like walking me through my first event. And then hopefully, we plan, I don't want to kind of announce anything right now, but we do have plans for some other events. It remains to be seen if those materialize. But again, I'm, happy to be a part of the Ridge Riders, happy to be a part of the community, and happy to be doing this with you guys. I really enjoy this and meeting you and talking with you.
Well, you know what I would like to see? I would like to see Austin Ridge Riders, Freeride 502, and Seth Buckner team up and let's do a coordinated shuttle day at Cat Mountain.
Ooh, we could do that.
That would be, hey, and actually, hey, shout out to Lex James, Bike Farm. He's all in on this. We've been talking about these collaborating on so we used to do what we call Catter Days. And I was the shuttle driver. I never got to ride because I was constantly driving everybody up. But it was the fun. We would have people come in from Houston, Dallas, all over the area, and we would
have a trailer or something.
No, I've got the shuttle rack and just hop in the back of the truck. Seriously, like old school. Like hop in the back of the truck, throw your bike in the back, and I would just drive to the top. But now we've got multiple shuttle racks, and with the assistance of Bike Farm coming on board with us and Seth, we want to get more people involved, and a lot of riders are starting to level up now. Like Cat Mountain's kind of had a gnarly reputation, but really, like anything else, you're only as good as the people you ride with. And when you ride with a good crew, you level up, you have a good time, and you meet a lot of new friends. And what I personally would like to see is, I think it'd be really cool. Cat's under Freeride 512's insurance umbrella, so you have to be a member to ride. But we're team up with you guys and do like skills clinics out there, trail days, trail maintenance days, and get new riders out there and expose them to new stuff. That's what I would really love to see for 2024 with you guys.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to be teaming up with MTB ATX again this year. So we're going to have another race team. I don't really race. I'm just
I'm with you. I don't race either. I just hang out, and drink beer.
Right. I'm just there for the community and the fun and riding bikes and having a good time. And I'm very excited for that this year.
Awesome. Yeah, good. Well, we're excited you're here. We're excited you're with Austin Ridge Riders, and we look forward to working on special events with you as well.
Me too, man. So real quick, we'll wrap this up. Do you guys want to shout out your socials, or what's the best way people can get in contact with you?
So my social security number is
No, we're on
No.
we're on Instagram at Dialed Bike Co. The website is www.dialedbike.co. And phone number, if you want to give us a call, is 512-831-7446. Lead you to a phone tree. You can select sales or service. If you want to talk to Steve B, we have a bike share link on there. You can click on that one and then talk his ear off.
Yeah, bike share. Hey, Steve, you want to touch on bike share real quick?
What's a bike share?
Yeah,
never mind.
Oh, you know what? I think we did talk about this.
We do. We haven't really. We've been launching the brand so much that we haven't really broached this yet. But yeah, we're
The first time publicly on the podcast.
yeah. This
There you
is
go.
it.
Awesome
This
Mountain
is
Biking
it.
Podcast
We-
announcement.
We've reached out. We've reached out to some of the like CBRE and some of the large kind of commercial real estate. So you and I have that in common, of course, Brooks. But yeah. So we have an exclusivity agreement with On Bike Share, which is one of the US's larger bike share providers, system providers. And so we work with multifamily complexes, commercial complexes, whatnot, large HOAs. We have a bike share system which is controlled by an app. It's got lockable racks, and so communities can add that as a resource for great lifestyle amenity for whether that be their condos, apartments. A lot of commercial campuses use it to get from one side of the campus to the other. And so we have the ability to install those, and also the mobile van is a great asset for that, because then not only that, but we can do a full turnkey system. So we show up once a month or however often, every quarter or whatnot, and do maintenance on the bikes. And it's a great customizable system for our clients, and so we haven't really pushed too much into that capability yet, but we do have it, and it's something that we have as a great product offering.
You have any locations already?
Not yet. We're working with a number of large properties. We've provided quotes for a couple of properties that are going in Mueller area.
That's a good location.
Yeah, it's really good, central, and they've already got a lot of that lifestyle amenities. So, for those, that kind of business cycle or sales cycle on that side is usually a couple year thing. As they're building these out, we're usually in those discussions early on. So I think it'll be a little bit of time before we see that mature. But it's something that's exciting. And to be frank, I mean, in the meantime, all of our focus has been on this and getting the shop rolling, and the phone continues to ring more, people come in, and the growth of our brand has been really inspiring. And we have nobody but our community to thank. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
I'd also like to say, if you want to come by the shop, our hours are Thursday through Monday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're closed on Tuesday and Wednesday. We try to be open for the weekend for the bike parks, but we still need a day off. So we picked kind of the middle of the week to take a break.
Well, the one thing we didn't touch on is that we have an application right now with TABC. So
I thought you were going to go into a musical number.
I was going to do that later. So hey, no, we actually have an application there with TABC. So we're going to be a full bar.
Nice.
So
is that going to be out of here?
Yeah, right here. So this is all benches. You could come in and buy beer and wine from us. And then on the side of the building here, our good friend Greg with Texas Trailcraft, there's a shout out right there and plug him. They'll be doing all the rock work. So there'll be cafe lights, picnic benches, and a bike wash station. So you can stop by after your Spider Mountain, RPR, or station visit, get your bike washed,
Ooh, that's
come in and
smart.
buy beer and wine from a store. So, or you can sit there and watch Ray work on your, install your brand new Cush core. Yeah. So, and then, hey, so as far as shout outs go, real quick, I want to thank you, Brooks, Austin Ridge Riders, first and foremost. Free Ride 512. I want to thank Seth Buckner, everyone at Cat Mountain. How about a big shout to Rhett Jones, Station Mountain Bike Park, Brian Stevens and Ken and Hunter over at Spider Mountain, Vol, great work. Abel, Derek, and the crew over at RPR, one of the best places to ride in Central Texas. All the trail builders out there, keep doing what you're doing, keep making biking fun. Lex James over at Austin Bike Farm. Like all our friends out there that are working bike shops and just turning wrenches and making it happen. Zach at Trek. We got a lot of good friends out there, but I want to say thank you to everyone that's actually making things happen. Rob over at Free Ride 5 2, man. Hey, you guys keep doing what you're doing. We'll see you March 9th. But yeah, man, like the people that are just showing up and doing things is what's really getting me jazzed right now.
Me too. All right, everybody, I'm going to call it there. This is the Austin Mountain Bike. What is it called? Austin Mountain Biking Podcast. My name is Brooks Lawson. You can find me at all things Brooks at brookslawson.com. And thank you for listening. Peace.
All right. Peace. Woo.
Thanks, guys.